if I'm going to use the word poopy, we never threw a poopy diaper in. Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Donnell, and I am back again with Nick, and we're going to be talking about how to dispose of adult diapers while at work or at the gym. Welcome, Nick.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. I am so thrilled to have you here in the house.
Yeah.
Call me a saint, but you know I'm a stranger. Oh, willing and
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, I need you. Obviously, you know that I am not a male, right? And
Sure.
for a female, we have the garbage disposals. We have just everything you can imagine in the restrooms for us. But I realize that, you guys, the male, don't always have that for that luxury. So help us out. Help us to figure out how to dispose of adult diapers while at work or at the gym.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're doing it yourself, it's the best place for you is the bathroom stall. And like you said, men's stalls don't have garbage cans, so it's it's a little tricky because first off, there's the sound. Um, it and maybe it's just something that's in the person's head or my head or whatever, but like it just sounds so loud. So like tapes and movement and things like that, and again, I don't. Most people probably don't care; they're not paying attention to what's going on around them, but you certainly are. So there's that of like, how do you mask that? Or I mean, I've like literally tried to like flush the toilet a bunch of times to like mask the untaping sounds. Um, so there's that, and at the end of it, you're left with having to dispose of a diaper. Now, what do? You probably brought it in a bag, hopefully. I mean, that's the best case scenario. Um, if that's the case, then you've kind of two options, really. I mean, I guess you have three options. The third option is the worst, which is just to walk out with a wet diaper and walk all the way across and put it into the trash can and just own it, I guess. That's one option. If you want to avoid that, I guess there's putting it in, your like having a bags in your book bag, like kind of like shopping bags, like the plastic ones. They're usually good. I mean, it's why I usually get shopping like plastic versus paper at like Targets. And then you can just put that in your book bag and take care of it later. If that's not something you necessarily want to do, then you could take that bag and put it in the garbage can in the restroom. That doesn't look that weird. No one's really caring what's in your bags that way. But yeah, and then you can kind of put the wipes and everything else in that same bag and kind of do it like that. I don't know. Do you think I'm over cautious about the sound thing, or?
No, no, I really don't think that you are. No, I don't think so because I recall, back when I was in high school and even for females having to change disposable pads, I remember trying to mask that untaping as well, and you just felt that everybody could hear you. And I think you mentioned something that's so valuable, owning your own shit, pretty much. Once you learn to accept your just yourself, and you become confident, you get to a point where it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. When I was younger and going into stores, it was kind of embarrassing picking up pads. You just feel everybody knows what you're picking up. But as you become older and you just have all of this, I don't give a whatever what anybody thinks attitude, it doesn't matter. Those things that you once were so concerned about become irrelevant, and everything, you just have this whole sense of I don't care. And I think once you reach that level, that's it. So no, 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 I don't, to answer you. I'm so sorry I ran on with all
No,
of
no, no.
that,
That's I mean, that's all
but
super relevant, and I think that like there's a comfort in the frequency you do something too. The more you're used to it, the more you realize, and like the more you drill into your head that no one pays attention to anyone besides themselves, and that like you really are essentially invisible, and no one even remembers bumping into you if they don't know who you are. It's weird how, like, if I'm out of, so this usually comes up for me when I'm out of town more than anything else, frankly. And in that instance, I really end up not caring as much. Like, I'm just like, even though the chances of I know someone is pretty low normally, like in town, but when I'm out of town, it's like even more of a like understanding of like, these are human beings I will never come in contact with again. I often don't bother with the whole bag and all the other stuff and just, just do it.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Now, I suppose if you are on a 9 to 5 job
That's a different story because
at
it's the same
work,
people over and over again. Yeah.
yes, yes. And for a man, it's different than a female, a woman, because we tend to travel with our bags to the restroom, right? No one will look at us and think, I wonder what's going on. But could you imagine if you worked in an office space and you just get up and you're taking your,
Your book bag with
your
you?
bag to the restroom?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
weird, right? Like it's a red flag. It might actually cause more attention
I
to it.
Yes. I feel that that will just draw more attention to what, 'cause I myself, I'm a pretty nosy person. I'm gonna be honest, I am. I'm frugal and I'm nosy, and for me, I would be the one person on a job wondering, I wonder why Nick is going to the bathroom with that bag. And then every day Nick goes to the bathroom with the same book bag. I'm wondering what's the heck in that bag. It's going to draw a flag, and especially if you're in an office space where you share a common restroom,
Yeah.
someone even may want to go in and kind of just check through what's in the bin. What did he throw in there? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah. I mean, I
Do you
think,
feel maybe I'm too nosy?
no, no, I mean, it depends. Like, the other thing is like you become real cognizant of like transparent trash bags too. Because it's sort of obvious. I mean, it really is. All of this stuff is kind of like exacerbated by if you're talking about prints or not, because then it's like kind of game over. Because it really shows up, and it's really harder to explain. It's one of the benefits of working from home, I guess, is that it's not as much of a concern.
No, not at all. You don't have to explain to anybody why you have little farm animals.
Sometimes farm animals, yeah. Yep. Definitely been farm
On your
animals.
You don't have to explain that to anybody. Why do you have little pink farm animals or little baby llamas?
Yeah, yeah. Or in recent, for me, it's been princesses and ponies. But yeah,
Right, you don't have to explain any. Is that a tiara I see there? You don't have to explain any of that at all. Um, you know what? I'm wondering at work, someone who has a bowel movement. I wonder. We've been talking about disposing of adult diapers, and we're thinking about just the wet ones. But what happens with a? Is it any different for a bowel movement? Solids in that. How do we mask that odor? What? How do we discreetly dispose?
yeah. I mean, that's a lot more work. It's you have to kind of determine what type of receptacle. If it's like a sort of a public place or what have you, usually they're big enough and they're changed frequently enough that it's not as much of an issue. So you don't like as worry about that. But I've definitely been known to throw things in outside dumpsters just to be, not have to add to the inside. Uh, that's a move we've made. um,
That's a good point, though, because if you are in a shared restroom, you may have male, female, in and out, and yeah, that's it's a great move to go in and throw it on the outside because, man, a bowel movement in that bin, somebody's gonna wonder what's inside there, and I mean, you never know, right?
Yeah, you don't want to make that be something that other people have to deal with because you're doing that. So if you have the ability to find, other locations for that, yeah, I mean, those end up being like in car changes frequently for me, or hotels are the other last place that you want to do that, with your own hotel. So like that's where the outside, trash cans that are in more of the public places end up being better for that because it's less of a a place that is, and those bigger like restrooms are changed frequently. There's usually some kind of scent stuff in there. It's not too bad, and they're used to that. I mean, like that's what they do. Like they have changing stations, and anywhere that they have those kinds of receptacles, that's probably best for that. I mean, family restrooms are like the ticket. That's usually the type of restaurant I find myself in. So they're usually, like that's kind of what they're designed for.
Right. And you know what? I'm glad you mentioned about the hotel. Even as a mom, when my kids were younger and they were in diapers, we never threw a poopy, if I'm going to use the word poopy, we never threw a poopy diaper in
In your
the
room,
hotel room.
yeah,
No. We just didn't do that. And I mean, obviously, they can, the housekeeper can see that is a baby diaper, and they can look around and see, okay, there was a baby in this room. But we just never did that.
sure.
We made sure that we would tie it up several times, and as we left the hotel, we would toss it in another bin, just because just the odor, it was not a pleasant odor, and we just did not want housekeeping to come in and have to deal with that. And that was just our thought.
Yep. I mean, I'm with you there. Hotels generally, it's the hardest place. Even, I mean, the wet ones add up too. I mean, it's not exactly the same issue. They just end up like taking up a lot of space in like tiny garbage cans. I end
Yeah,
up
they are
having
very tiny.
bringing like those plastic bags I mentioned that I have a lot of. I end up bringing those with me when I travel, so I can just kind of tie up and stack or whatever. Depends on how long I'm there.
All right, thank you so much, Nick. Thank you so much for hanging with me. I totally appreciate you.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're new here and you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and I will totally see you on another video. Bye.